The chimp part of the brain is an emotional center that thinks independently from us. And when it takes over the blood flow in our brain and we start to be controlled by it, then we act pretty much like a chimpanzee. That is why Steve chose to call it the chimp part of the brain. It is not good and it is not bad. It is just what he calls a chimp. It is formed in the womb at the same time as we get our eye and hair cut. So in fact, we end up with two brains in our head. One, which is us, and another, which is an emotional machine that thinks separately from us and provides us with thoughts and emotions. These emotions can be constructive or destructive. It really just depends on how the chimp sees the situation and how it references it when it looks into another part of the brain, which I will just explain a little bit about now in this diagram. The chimp part of the brain has two things on its agenda. One, to keep us safe, and two, to perpetuate the next generation. And it does this through a series of drives. Now we also get the information from our senses, which goes straight to the chimp part of the brain, and there its first function is to assess if there is any danger. So if there is, we will get the number one option there, which is the fight, flight or freeze reaction. If there is no imminent danger, it will then take a look into the computer part of the brain, which is the reference center, to see if this situation has been experienced before. Now if it has, and as you can see the green arrow comes back for the computer and it says the situation was okay before, then it will allow the blood to flow back to the human and the chimp will climb back into its box, as Steve puts it in the model. However, if there is or there has been danger in the situation that our senses are providing us with at the moment, then the chimp will provide us with negative, black and white, catastrophic emotional thoughts to try and stop us taking action on the situation, or to try to make us take action on the situation. So you can see there that one of the statements in the book, and there's a picture there of me the day that I met Steve Peters for the first time, and he says there, one of the greatest secrets of success and happiness is to learn to live with your chimp. To do this, you need to understand how your chimp behaves and why it thinks and acts in that way that it does. And he is really very true. So as you can see, that is the battle that we have going on in our head consistently during our waking hours. Scientific methods have gone somewhat to prove this does happen, and in particular Professor Peters scanned many of his patients under brain scans and observed where the blood flow in the brain was going as they were thinking emotionally and when they were thinking with facts and figures. This really proved that there was another, can we call it another entity within our head producing these thoughts, and if you're able to control it, as it said there in the diagram, it's the real success in life is being able to manage this entity within your head. And it's a good way to do it is to name it. And hence that's why my channel's called Living with Clyde, because I named my chimp Clyde, and I've learned his ways and I've learned how to manage him better to give me greater success in life. One way to note when the chimp is what we call hijacking your thoughts. The thoughts of the chimp are usually in the past or in the future. Why did I do such a thing? Oh, I'm never going to be able to do that when I get there. It's very little present moment thinking. So that's a pretty good way to identify when the chimp is taking over your thoughts. And also think, do I really need these thoughts and feelings? If you don't really want them, then very often it is the chimp that's giving you these thoughts. And learning how to recognize this and master this and do your best to control it. I compare it to a pet dog. You walk your dog down the street. You're not responsible for its actions. It may bark at every car, it may jump at every dog. It's not your responsibility, but it is your responsibility to manage that. And this is what I hope this video is attaining, is that you can understand that there is this other entity within your mind that is controlling your thoughts, feelings and actions. And I always remember Professor Peters saying in It was a Christmas conference a few years ago in Wortley Hall in Sheffield, and he said a statement which went something like this. He said, if your chimp is continually controlling you, is the world ever going to see the real you? Think about it. If you're continually acting in a chimp manner, if you're screaming and shouting at everybody and acting totally unruly and just being controlled by some beast within you that are laws of the jungle, is that the real you? Is that the real you that you want the world to see? I hope it's not, and I hope it can help you. So this is the chimp video, and I'll now move on to the computer for the next one. And if you take a look, it'll be just up there. Thank you.